For me, it's like my teenage years is the foundation for everything that I've sort of done afterward.
I've actually never owned a Varsity jacket, so this will be my first Varsity jacket and my first LV piece of clothing. In today's video, we're gonna talk about the history of the Varsity jacket, how it's made, details on the jacket, inspiration, references, price, sizing, everything that you can think of and more. You've seen the length of the video, let's get started. Varsity jacket or Letterman jacket first started at Harvard University in 1865. Originally, it was just the letter H sewn onto the sweater. It was said that a student decided to put the H applique on, and then the program adopted this because it shows school or team pride and team spirit. They were then known as Letterman sweaters. All members get to wear it, but only great players get to keep them after the season is over. You then get the pants, the cardigan, the shirt, the thongs adorned with the letter H, simply a sign to show pride in your school. By the way, G-string got its name from this practice, University of Glasgow. Also, fairly elitist, because the H stands for Harvard, the C stands for Cornell. Early 1900s, football teams started to wear their uniform with their large H, and then the jacket got a bit more customizable. A star on the chest is for the captain, your interest, your heritage, your number, your school years, blah, 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 blah. By 1930, we get the Varsity jacket that we now know. Harvard, Yale, Princeton were all in the upper states, which get quite cool in the winter, so the student requested a more rugged version. This is when we got the thick wool body and thick calf leather sleeve and the Chanel letterings. Soon, professional sports got into it. The baseball team, Yankee, wore this cardigan with their iconic NY on the left breast. Basketball got into it. Football got into the trend. The Varsity jacket stepped out of the sports realm in the 1980s when celebrities such as Princess Diana, NWA, Run DMC, Michael Jackson, Elvis, David Bowie, Salt-N-Pepa, and many more started to wear them in their music videos and in their daily life. You then started to see it in TV shows and movies. You get Beverly Hills Cop in 1987, Happy Days, Richie wore it in that show, Teen Wolf, which I believe is the most famous, but to me, the most famous is The Breakfast Club. Most movies now use the Varsity jacket as a signifier of a jock or someone dumb, With regard to high fashion, should be of no surprise that it was Ralph Lauren who first showed it on the runway, I believe 1987. This is according to ChatGPT, by the way. I couldn't find any information on my own, so if you got a problem with that statement, take it up with Sam. Streetwear got their hands on there. The first brand to do so was Stussy in 1987 to 1989. There was the Homeboy and the One Love. Supreme now release them every chance they get. Palace, ALD, every streetwear brands, they have their own version of a Varsity jacket. Many high fashion designers did their own interpretation of the Varsity jacket, but the most prominent one was when Hedi did it in 2013 for Saint Laurent. Made it more slim fitted, more minimalist. Everyone who is anyone would wear this jacket. I wanted it so badly when I first discovered Saint Laurent. Might buy it now after this video to fulfill that dream. Teddy jacket, it's cool. However, if you ask me, the Celine version was better because it had the spread collar. Here's a video on how a Varsity jacket is made. By learning how a product is made, we'll appreciate them more. The video does a really great job at explaining it better and far more succinct than I ever could. Now let's talk chenille. Chenille? I'm definitely pronouncing it wrong. Chenille.
Chenille.
The chenille letters, Chanel, Letterman's alphabet and number, they're 3D, right? But regular embroidery is not 3D, they're simply raised. 3 layers of material is needed to achieve this effect. First, the base layer is the felt. Manufacturer picked it because it's sturdy and durable. You then add stitches around the felt material, make the letter graphic look more 3D, and then you stitch the Chanel material to further exaggerate the 3D effect. By embroidering on the felt material rather than the wool jacket itself, you save a bit of time and money. This is why you see so many letters or graphic pre-made and then they simply sew it onto the jacket. LV recently introduced this new Varsity jacket where you can pick the graphics, letters, and logo. It's nice, but very limited still. Doesn't also tell the price, but I'm gonna assume it's roughly around 7K because the regular is already 5 to 6K. But it's not customizable enough. Let us pick the collar, pick the color of the rib knit cuffs and the hems, add more embroidery in more places. I can go on, but it's not worth it right now. Just pick the one you like. So chenille is typically made from a blend of cotton, rayon, and acrylic fibers. The fuzzy textures are woven onto a backing fabric, which is normally felt. Chenille is produced by twisting short length of power yarns between 2 core threads. Embroidery is nice to the touch, but chenille is a lot more tactile, fun to run your hand through them, For this LV jacket, Virgil and the team didn't deviate too far from the original. They kept the wool body, the leather sleeve, the letters on the left and right side of the breast. A regular Varsity will have the name and number of the player, school logo and mascot, possibly their position on the team. Shape-wise, Virgil is or was very tapped into the streetwear scene, so it's good that he kept them wide and open as opposed to the version that Hedi Slimane and many other California brands started to produce, you know. LV also makes more shrunken version, shorter version, slimmer version. That famous quote I showed earlier from Virgil, I kind of relate to it because everything I do now is also for the younger me. I believe the sentiment is shared by many of you. You're probably thinking the same thing. Oh, I relate to that. Because, you know, when we're young, we're so aspirational. We long for so many things, but we're limited by our age, money, experience, parents, society. For me, now that I'm older and careless about what other people think, I often revisit my past to see what the younger me wanted to do. These itches are always in the back of my head. For example, always wanted to wear some kerchief, so I got it. Always wanted a geo basket, so I got it. Always wanted to dye my hair red and blonde, so I did it. Always wanted a beautiful wife, and I got it. I mean her. It's the small things that I do for the younger me, which makes the whole me super happy. Varsity jacket, let's get back into it. It's very American, it's very nostalgic for Virgil. He's a big fan of Michael Jackson, dedicated a whole show to him. He's also very tapped into the sports scenes, you know, he's seen them in the film and on Celebrity that we listed previously. Nostalgia, Americana, hip-hop, streetwear, the varsity jacket fits all of that and more. Late 1800s, you know, the Harvard student got to be really, really good at their sports to get the jacket. It's a sign of achievement. These LV jackets are items that you buy for your birthday or Christmas, something special, you know, because of the price tag. Emblem good if you watch my other video. So once again, youth, nostalgia, cultural relevant, customization, blah, 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 blah. Virgil uses the canvas of the varsity jacket with the iconography of LV and the playfulness from his childhood or memories of the past to create these varsity jackets. While most of his fans cannot afford these particular jackets from LV's or his brand Off-White, by putting them on the runway, he reintroduces the varsity jacket into the zeitgeist. Fast fashion will copy them, vintage shop will know to stock them because there's an increased demand of it. Those fans who cannot afford it can get their hands on a cheaper version. From his show note, he did a bunch of vocab. I wanted to show all of the words at this moment, but then it got so long, so I'm gonna just show them throughout the video. However, I do want to talk about one: irony. Varsity jacket, very democratized piece of clothing. You can find them anywhere from the thrift shop to fast fashion to streetwear to sportwear and now high fashion. But this one is $5K and it's with the LV logo on there. Is that LV appropriating the everyday culture, or is the everyday culture invading the high luxury house of LV? You can decide for yourself. That was my own interpretation of Virgil and the varsity jacket. I am not the biggest Virgil fan and I don't know too much about him or his work. I did my research, yes, but I'm sure a fan of Virgil will know more, so please correct me if I got anything wrong. Though the Wizard of Oz is his most prized varsity jacket because it was the first, it actually didn't show up on the runway. The first varsity jacket to show up on the runway was the puppet varsity jacket from the spring-summer 2021, and then you get the green one in fall-winter 2021. There was definitely pushback from the executive to put such a democratized items on the runway. LV, you know, it's a very high class, but then LVMH saw the hype that Virgil was able to drum up and the profit drove so high. Virgil then got a bit more power, more freedom to shape LV to his own vision. This article confirms that. With regard to the fall-winter 2022, which was the last runway designed by Virgil, there were 3 varsity jackets shown on the runway. We got this purple frog, the surrealist red, and the white bunny. I don't think the red was ever made into production. Can't seem to find any photos of anyone wearing it or selling it. The bug bunny is the best in my opinion, and then the frog, and then the surrealist. Virgil releases the varsity jacket with the bomber collar and the spread collar. You know me, dude. Spread collar all day. Spread collar isn't that popular on a varsity jacket. Most people prefer the bomber, so brand makes them with bomber more. Maybe I'll get the varsity jacket with the bomber collar to see how I feel. Maybe it's better, you know, just a comparison video. I like doing that. The beautiful thing about spread collar is when it gets really cold, you can fluff it up higher and it will protect you a bit more from the wind. Spread collar also looks more refined. Bomber collar is a bit too streetwear, which I kind of get, you know. Varsity jacket has become one of the symbols of streetwear. Let's end it with this. I am glad that Virgil and the whole team at LV decided to release both. Options. We like options. The wool is incredibly soft, no itchiness whatsoever. Some wool can be itchy. This is one of those details that you get when you buy from a brand that care. A Zara varsity jacket can definitely itch you. It's probably lower quality wool. I like how heavy the collar is. Has not perk up at all. I hate when collar perks up. Would have loved for them to include this button like the Visvim jacket. However, not everyone can be Visvim. Very sharp edges, which is nice. This Bodhi collar is a bit too circular for my taste. I can honestly spend 5 more minutes talking about the collar. I love it. I would not trade it for the bomber collar. Okay, one of my favorite parts of the jacket, the heavyweight calf leather sleeves. Let's start from the bottom. Rib knit cuffs. This is a blend of wool, polyester, acrylic, I think. The tag is a bit confusing, maybe even cotton. No matter. The cuffs, they are lovely. Alternative color stripe or stripe rib cuffs. I might be crazy, but does this purple look a bit different than these purple? This one looks a bit darker to me. I don't know. Anyway, they're super soft, very malleable. Since the jacket is quite oversized on me, I'm able to put my entire arm into the sleeve, close up the cuff, no cold air getting through. I use this a lot when I bike. It can get super cold when you're biking in Munich. Grip the handle through the cuffs and you're all good. The stripe natures and the stitching technique also looks great when you expand your hand. You can see the move. A nice touch, you know. The white has gotten a bit dirty, you know. I've been wearing it for a month now. Hopefully I got some B-roll of that. If not, take my words for it. Touches a lot of things, you know, and then when I'm sweaty, the sweat accumulates in that region. The cuffs are quite thick and, you know, thicker than my Rick Owens, to be honest, but I don't think there's any wool in it because it's a bit too thick. People use wool for its warmth to weight ratio, so I think it's cotton polyester acrylic blend. Though I like the stripe design, I think I would have loved it even more if it wasn't there, you know, all leather. Look at these two leather jackets. This one just looks better in my opinion. I see why it's there though. It looks more sporty and, you know, for sports team, they can change the colors to their school colors. I shouldn't want the varsity jacket to look too high class. It is a democratized piece of clothing. It's for the people, not for the luxury market. One more thing, since they're rib knit cuffs here, easier to slide them up to the elbow and they do stay up there, but the leather, they're so thick, so a bit of movement will bring it back down. This is good for washing your hands, or if it's too warm, you need some air through your arm. The width is also great. You can also fit two of your arms in there. We'll talk sizing later. I got this in a 54. I normally wear a 50. The bigger width allows you to easily put a sweater or hoodie underneath without much discomfort. You can even put a giant fucking North Face down jacket underneath. That's how crazy wide they are. The length is great. I knew I always wanted the jacket to be oversized. This isn't the heady varsity jacket version. You don't need them to fit perfectly. It's very streetwear. Lean into that. On the sleeve, you have a graphic on each sleeve. Both of them says Vuitton, but the color is inverse. I think it's a nice touch. This is one of those small details that will be overlooked by most people. We're gonna spend some time here. It looks to me like it's a pleat stitched onto the leather. Either die cutting machine or laser cutting because the edges are quite sharp and it's fairly intricate, you know. It's not just a square Supreme box logo. You start off with the backing material. I don't seem to see any felt, so I think it's embroidered base, and then you get the yellow and green leather on top. This gives that 3D effect, you know, a bit of depth. Maybe a satin stitch, which is super dense embroidery around the edges to secure it. This is all from reading and watching video. I've actually never done it, so if I got anything wrong, please do correct me. I love that you can see the cracking in the leather. When it's all smooth out, it feels fake. This feels authentic. It was the skin of an animal. It shouldn't be smooth. As I wear them more and more, the cracking has become more prevalent. The applique is also near the elbow, so you stretch them around a lot. You know, when you move, any movement of the arm will have an effect on the applique. They didn't stitch all of it down entirely. You can see the edges pop up, which is a nice touch, make them feel more alive. However, I get super nervous when I see them perk up. I trust the team at LV that they stitch them down correctly, but think plastic wrapping your food to put in the fridge. If it's not all the way down, if there's a small corner that is slightly open, it will be super easy for all of them to come apart. The good news, however, after 1 month, stitches hasn't fallen apart yet, but I am super careful when I wear this jacket. Imagine you turn a corner and get caught under something. It's gonna be really bad because there's already an opening, you know? Now this just has a lot of the LV logo already, but I really wanted these sleeves to have the embossed or debossed LV logo everywhere like this other varsity jacket. This piece, it is not a subtle piece. Why not go all the way? It would have been such a nice sight to see when you look down the sleeve. I don't wear this jacket when I want to be low-key. I wear this when I want more eyes on me out in public. I wear this when I'm insecure. I also love how the heavyweight calfskin create these weird creases when you twist and move the arms. Makes the jacket feel more alive. I love that you can see all of the grain. LV sometimes smooth out or buffed out these calf leather that they use in the hope for a more clean cut look. I think Virgil and the team realized that they need to keep this varsity as close to the original as possible. The easy answer is to buff it out and make it look more well made, because that's how most consumers think of a luxurious product should be. The leather, they feel great. I honestly wish the whole jacket was all leather. That would have been an amazing thing, but I like the wool, but I love leather more. A cool trick though, enough room in the armhole for me to take my arms in and out without taking the jacket off. I get bored sometimes when I'm simply standing still, so I would do this to entertain myself and the 3 other voices in my head. Folding your arm is a bit tougher than usual because the leather is quite heavy. You also get the applique. I don't mind this though. I like when a garment makes me conform to its shape or material rather than the vice versa. I will actually try to acquire the Celine or Saint Laurent teddy jacket to compare this larger sleeve to a more fitted sleeve. Maybe I like the fitted more. I'm just trying to come up with excuses to buy more clothes. Shape wise, it's a bit weird. So the 2 most popular sleeve patterns are raglan and satin sleeve. A raglan sleeve is a sleeve that extends one piece to the collar, leaving a diagonal seam from the underarm to the collarbone. It is named after Fitzroy Somerset, the first Baron Raglan. He lost an arm during the Battle of Waterloo and wanted a new coat with fuller sleeve to accommodate his missing limb. Set-in sleeve or drop shoulder or drop sleeve, the terms are used interchangeably. It has a seam at the shoulder which continue around the complete construction of the arm, doesn't go all the way to the collar. A raglan is more sporty, set-in sleeve is a bit more professional, so it's a bit perplexing to see set-in sleeve on this jacket. You can see the seam at the shoulder rather than at the collar. It has a distinct curvature. Do you guys see it? Now when you lay it out flat, it doesn't look too good, but when worn, it's actually quite nice. Great mobility, and it's, gives you a bit more tailored fit rather than the more generic, more let's please as many people as possible with the raglan. There's a curve to it which I found through my research that is trying to mimic the natural bend of the arm. We can see that our arm quite straight, but what I don't quite get is despite it being a set-in sleeve, which I believe by the way, you still get a lot of room. Raglan sleeve is a sleeve that's known for extra room for movement and comfort. I think it's because of the extra wide nature of the sleeve. By the way, this is all just me thinking, I don't know for sure. If you are more knowledgeable when it comes to patterns of clothing, please tell me how you think these sleeves are constructed. All I know is it feels great when worn and it looks great when worn. However, when you lay it out flat, it doesn't look too good. LV, however you did it, I love it. Keep it up. Some people don't really attribute tailoring and precise pattern making to LV. A lot of people think it's just cheap logo, all about the money, but we should know that LV has a reputation to uphold. This is from their runway, so it has to look and feel nice and luxurious. It can't just be a simple LV logo printed on the chest on a simple plain generic t-shirt. They needed to make sure that the pattern is good, and when people wear it, they feel comfortable. They feel like they're wearing something that is well made. I don't like when avant-garde people think it's only their designer that care about the tailoring and pattern cutting or making aspects. LV, Givenchy, Chanel, they also care about those things. If you think the segment of a sleeve is long, we're gonna talk so long about the front of the jacket. Let's talk graphic first. On the LV website, it says embroidery, bouclette, Louis Vuitton logo on the chest. Bouclettes come from the French word boucle, meaning loop, used to describe loop yarn or fabric that gives Chanel its distinct fluffy appearances. I'm pronouncing so many things wrong, please forgive me. Bouclette is used interchangeably with Chanel, just lingos in the industry. All right, let's start from the top. You get Louis on this side and get Louis Vuitton on the other side. Dark orange, which is a nice color, paired with purple, surprisingly. The font remind me of graffiti style lettering. Do you guys see it, or is it just me? The letters are all connected because Virgil is, he's very into streetwear, and street art is mainly graffiti. In Chicago, where he grew up, lots and lots of graffiti on every single wall that you can imagine. Anywhere an artist can tag, they will tag. A quick history. The art of drawing on walls started when we were in caves. Then ancient Romans and Greeks wrote their name in protest poem on buildings. According to Strat Museum, modern graffiti first appeared in Philadelphia in the early 1960s, despite people mostly associating it with New York. Daryl McCray is widely regarded as the father of modern-day graffiti. His tag name is Cornbread, which is the name he got from when he was in juvie, and he kept asking the chef to make cornbread for him, but the chef never did. He first started tagging because he wanted to get a girl's attention. Started tagging Cornbread loves Cynthia all along her walking route home. You can say a lot of negative things about Virgil, but he's a very intentional man. Every aspect is thought out and carefully chosen. You then get the LV executives asking him and telling him about LV places in the high fashion industry. So you really gotta tell a story. Every detail needs a reference or a backstory. think asking your parents to go on a trip with your friends when you're 15, you gotta let them know when and where you'll be at all time. How many people are there? What you're gonna do? Is there gonna be drinking? Is there gonna be drugs? You do see this graphic out of your peripheral, and it's a nice touch. You know, it would have been better if it were to be a graphic of something else or some other words rather than LVs. But then again, you know, it's fairly subtle. Maybe Virgil wanted to write something else, but the executive made him do LV logo because they know that's what sells. And then you get the L and V on the chest. This is a clear reference to American collegiate culture and sportswear. Again, H for Harvard, blah 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 blah. L, you get the orange and then green as the backing to make it more 3D, and then white as the base layer. On the V, you get the white backing, then black, then green, then white. The University of Louis Vuitton. Moving down, you get the Cupid holding the LV logo. Cupid or cherub-like figure is taken from or inspired by the Renaissance or the Baroque style of artwork. Cherubs or putti or puto or Cupid were very common. Artists such as Raphael or Caravaggio included a lot of Cupids in their painting to add a sense of divinity or romanticness. We all know the history between Virgil and Caravaggio. Pirates 30 featured the Entombment of Christ, which is by Caravaggio, and then put more Caravaggio painting on his off-white product.
Michelangelo Maurici da Caravaggio is known for his impressive Baroque artworks as well as his violent temper. In the Entombment of Christ, Caravaggio's appreciation of drama combines with his love of painting. The work was commissioned in 1601 for the Chapel of the Pietà in Rome's Chiesa Nuova. Caravaggio completed the painting between 1602 and 1604. Today, a copy hangs in the chapel, while the original belongs to the Vatican Museums. The Entombment of Christ shows Jesus after he has been crucified. The figures are grouped along a strong diagonal line, beginning at Mary, the wife of Clopas' raised left hand, and traveling down through Mary Magdalene's slumped shoulder and Nicodemus' elbow. The line ends at the corner of the burial shroud. Mary, the wife of Clopas, Mary Magdalene, and the Virgin Mary fan out around Jesus' body. This shape creates a feeling of tension and movement. Nicodemus carried Jesus' legs. The last figure is either John the Apostle or Joseph of Arimathea. He had his hand placed on Jesus' side wound, adding a viscerality to the painting. One important goal of Baroque art was to evoke a bodily experience in the viewer. The perspective further adds to the intensity of the work. The stone ledge and Nicodemus' elbow are foreshortened, appearing to jut out from the painting. The figures are depicted above the viewer's vantage point. This gives the impression that the viewer is standing underground, where Jesus will soon be. Caravaggio has been especially praised for his use of light. In the Entombment of Christ, the scene is spotlit against a black background. Caravaggio popularized an extreme version of chiaroscuro, known as tenebrismo, or tenebrism. The harsh theatrical light heightens emotion. One unique feature is Caravaggio's unconventional portrayals of the biblical figures. The Virgin Mary is often depicted as youthful, but here she is an old nun. Nicodemus is described biblically as a wealthy man, but here he wears humble clothing. Everyone is shown as ordinary and unidealized, even Jesus. Another small yet important detail is the mullein plant in the painting's bottom left corner. Mullein was believed to ward off evil. Its inclusion foreshadows Jesus' resurrection.
Screen printing or putting graphics onto regular shaped products such as hoodie, t-shirt, or in this case, varsity jacket, very common in streetwear. Virgil was able to elevate this past screen printing with the higher budget from LV. You get this embroidery and of course the Chanel fabric. The backing is all black and then you get the Chanel in orange to make the graphic more three-dimensional. LV is also a heritage brand, been in business since 1854. It's French. French art is very incredibly popular. The Renaissance, Baroque, blah 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 blah. The connections are there. Oh, with regard to the original Cupid or putti or cherubs, the chubby winged child figure that appear in the Renaissance and Baroque artwork. Cupid is the god of love. This one is holding LV logo instead of the usual bow and arrow, so you know, the Cupid want to fuck the LV logo. Naughty little fellas. To bring it back to Caravaggio, there's the Amor Vinca Omni or Love Conquers All. Virgil is referencing all of the things that we stated with his root in his first few endeavors in the fashion world. A good circle moment, you know. Next up is this abstract dancing or kneeling African American or African origin with the small LV logo on top. This is a line drawing. They're simple in nature, a bit of postmodernism when you compare it to the Baroque style of painting. Quite abstract. We see that it's a person, but it doesn't have any realistic feature of a human being. I looked into African American and African styles of art and I found the Harlem Renaissance and the Black Arts movement. I did this whole research for the wrong segment, but then I found this great video that would do a better job than I ever could. Enjoy.
In African American history. Throughout the decade of the 1920s, Black writing, art, and music flourished, ushering in a cultural revolution that rocked the United States.
One of the most important factors that accounted for the rise of what we know of as the Harlem Renaissance is the migration of Black peoples from the South to urban centers like Harlem.
The Jim Crow era begins after Reconstruction, and every Southern African American had to think about, what should we do? Should we go or should we stay? For many of these people, it was a matter of life and death, literally.
Sometimes in the most repressive times, we create the most extraordinary art.
Amidst the fervor of the Great Migration, bold, exciting forms of Black music evolved, along with venues to listen and dance to this music. Blues and jazz clubs became a central part of life in Harlem, where artists such as Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington, Bessie and Mamie Smith rose to prominence.
He went away and never even said goodbye.
The era also saw the burgeoning of literary work by and about African Americans, which the writer Alain Locke compiled into an anthology. He called it The New Negro, and its name came to define a movement.
The Harlem Renaissance is a facet of a larger movement that we think of as the New Negro movement, where you have a new generation of Black people, by this point, 2 generations out of slavery, using the arts as a way to help people gain broader civil and political rights.
Some of the framers of what became the Renaissance make the argument that the artistic worth of the people has to be proven by the worth of the art and literature they produced, especially for people that historically, over centuries, have been defined as without culture, without history, and without any record of achievement.
The Harlem Renaissance was the flowering of creativity that had been suppressed for centuries. People that had the sense that things were opening up, and finally, we could be the people that we imagine ourselves to be.
Same thing with the Black Arts Movement. This video explains it better than I ever could.
How do we go from this
The revolution will not be televised.
to this?
We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
4 words, the Black Arts Movement. If it wasn't for the Black Arts Movement, we might have never known so many amazing stories, songs, and poems about Black life. We actually might have never had hip-hop. But what exactly was the Black Arts Movement? Think of it like the Harlem Renaissance Part 2, except with more explicit nationalist and leftist overtones. Inspired by the rise of the Black Power movement in the wake of Malcolm X's assassination, the Black Arts Movement used creativity to question what it meant to be culturally Black in the mid-1960s. The movement was spearheaded by poet and playwright Amiri Baraka, the brains behind Harlem's Black Arts Repertory Theater and School, which became a gathering spot for Black artists to connect. The institution supported the rise of Black artists who created poetry, visual arts, novels, music, and theater. Pretty soon, the vibe of this place gained popularity, and the movement grew beyond New York, spreading to cities like Chicago, Detroit, and San Francisco, and sparking a whole new generation of Black voices in the art scene. Icons like Nikki Giovanni, Sonia Sanchez, Ntozake Shange, The Last Poets, John Coltrane, and Thelonious Monk found new meaning and impact with their work through the Black Arts Movement. The movement shook things up by revolutionizing cultural expression. It amplified Black voices and helped set the stage for African American studies programs in universities. Through the Black Arts Movement, Black artists laid the foundation for spoken word and hip-hop, scenes we vibe with today. The movement only lasted for about a decade, but it made a lasting impact on Black culture and expression.
I found Aaron Douglas. He mainly used flat planes and geometric shapes to depict African American and African cultural narratives. They look kind of similar to this graphic, I think anyway. You can also look at Jacob Lawrence, which dubbed his style of art as dynamic cubism, which is similar to this. This also reminded me a bit of Keith Haring. Though not African American, his work resonated with the African American because where he was from, and his, I quote, unapologetically denounced racism, capitalism, homophobia, dictatorship, atomic war, environmental degradation, and the excess of technology and mass media. He also cared greatly about the children's well-being, the fight against drug addiction, and bringing an end to the AIDS epidemic, according to these individuals. Keith's work is really big in the streetwear scene as well, and Virgil, again, he's very tapped into the streetwear culture, so this could honestly be a reference to Keith as well. The image, they haunt me because I really want to find the origin or the style of art, but I can't pinpoint it, so I kept researching. I then learned that Virgil was very interested in the human form as a symbol. This is a very abstract human figures. We established that. This is African American inspired, so let's look at the hair on a human being. To me, they seem to be braided. Virgil's work is about celebrating Black culture. Braided hair is one of the things that is heavily celebrated and protected in the Black culture. I read somewhere a long time ago about how Black models are pressured to be bald because a lot of hair artists do not know how to work with Afro texture hair or kinky hair, or they find it too difficult, so agencies will pressure their models to go bald. I didn't simply want to cite a memory, so I found this article, which I will put in the description. On a reality show, Afropolitain La Varsity, which follows the lives of 2 Afro-French sisters, the issues of the fashion industry pressuring Black models to shave their head came to the forefront. On episode 9, Ivor, I'm sorry, pronouncing your name wrong, felt pressure to shave her head to impress a top modeling agency. After learning she was scouted, she ran with excitement to the bathroom to find a pair of clippers. When her sister Janice questioned why she planned on shaving her head, Yvonne, let's just call her Yvonne for now, I'm so sorry, responded, "It is required. They want me to be bald-headed," saying it was way easier for hairdressers. However, Janice disagreed and asked their mother to intervene. She told Yvonne, "Your hair is what makes you who you are, your beauty, your legacy," urging her daughter to turn down the opportunity from modeling agency if it's contingent upon cutting her hair. As the scene ended, the mother reminded Yvonne of the effort she put into growing a full, healthy head of hair. This moment was bittersweet as reality sets in, and the black model has to decide whether to take the modeling agency guidance and shave her head. There was this other quote from the same article too, pause it if you want to read it. This could be Virgil pointing out the flaw in the fashion industry through his work with regards to black models. Virgil is also the first black artistic director of LV. He's breaking a lot of barriers. He's friends with a lot of models, so he's trying to help them out too, you know. Honestly, it still bothers me that I can't pinpoint the exact art of style or even whoever created it, you know. Can someone from LV please email me and tell me it's an itch? I can't quite scratch it and it does bother me immensely actually, but let's move on. This is the video, can't waste too much time. So that's all of the artwork. Let's now talk about the snap button closure. You get 6 buttons which are not standard buttons. It's not plastic nor metal. I think it could be resin and coated in something to make it look glossy, almost like wet paint looking. We can attribute this to Virgil 3% rules, changed it enough to be different. The shape is also imperfect, so lightly custom made. That's a bit of luxury, you know. I like when brands change something or make something that is simply functional into a design feature. Think Rick Owen and the zip on the fly, subverting the expectation, you know. Logo on all of the buttons, front and back, which is a nice touch. Now let's talk practical. Yes, you can try to button it with one hand, but it will take a lot longer. The fabric around the buttons are quite thick. To maneuver around it is tough. Use both your hands, it's easier and faster. Put your phone down, put your hand back down. Unbuttoning them though, super easy. They come off super easily. There's a good weight to all of them. Oh, it's only these that I believe are resin based. The back of that and the other sides of the buttons are all metal. For a photo shoot, for a sitting shot, I would tell the model to unbutton the bottom few so the jacket sit better on the body while seated. 10 out of 10, love everything about the buttons. Rip hems with the 2 white stripes. Again, I get that this is a signature Varsity jacket and that Virgil wanted to stay true to the original, blah blah blah. I would not have minded if they removed the piping detail. I like when things are slightly different. If the jacket were not to have this, I could say, hey, you know, the regular Varsity jacket has them, but this doesn't, a bit new. What do you think? It could be a conversation starter. The good thing is, it stretches, so if you put something really baggy under, this will stretch the jacket to accommodate. Feels good, not itchy, not much else to talk about, 9 out of 10. 2 side pockets, let's talk leather first. White leather to show where the openings are, a nice touch in my opinion, make the front a bit more exciting. Virgil could have gone tonal, but however, this is superior. Also, super happy that there's leather in here as well. You touch it every time you use the pocket. I like the feel of leather. These 2 parts are double-sided leather. This right here is only one-sided, so it's a bit thinner. I like that the leather extends further into the pocket. Interior is 100% cotton lining. I'm not the biggest fan. They should have kept the Cooper blend lining. This is a bit more dry. Luckily for me, I haven't spilled anything, but the drier nature will capture more of the liquid or moisture. Cooper blend, it will kind of slide off, which I think would have been better. Maybe, who knows? Let me know what you think. As far as spacing goes, could be bigger, enough for your hands, but not enough to put a whole water bottle in there. I also wish for zipper for security's sake and for the aesthetic, you know. If you see silver zipper, that would have been cool. I mainly use interior pockets if I want to store my phone or AirPod or blah blah blah. Now, the back of the jacket, 3 graphic. First, we have the number 54 or hashtag 54. LV was founded in 1854, a clear reference to Varsity jacket having numbers and name of the player on the back of the garment. With the LV logo, it's actually not that simple. If you look closer, it's actually 2 hearts. That's a very nice touch to me. Honestly, my favorite graphic on this jacket because it's so subtle. I didn't notice it until I actively looked at it. I bet whoever designed it was definitely waiting for one customer to write in or show it off on a video on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and like, hey man, I see the 2 hearts. Maybe I'm just dumb and maybe everybody noticed it faster than I did. Anyway, to whoever designed this, I see you and I appreciate the work you did here. I'll take you out to lunch if we ever see each other. That's how much I like this little graphic. And now, the big frog graphic. I tried so hard to find the inspirational reference. Found nothing. Someone from LV, please email me. We know that Virgil references a lot of his childhood. Is it Kermit the Frog? Is it the frog from The Princess and the Frog? Please tell me. I simply call this the frog jacket and many others do too. It's a big, you know, it's loud, it's memorable. When it comes to Virgil era Varsity jacket, I consider this to be one of the main 4s. You get the Oz, the bunny, this frog, and then the green one. I should state, if I could pick I would have picked the green first, the white, the Oz, and then this purple. Maybe I'll get all four to show it off on this channel. On the hammer, you get one of the logos of LV, a cute detail. You also get Vuitton Matelier. Matelier is French for trunk maker. LV started off as a trunk maker, which I'm assuming we all know. I really like the frog graphic. It is loud, it is memorable. So, okay, let's talk loudness real quick. Sometimes we want to wear something colorful. Sometimes you want to wear something with logo. I am a big fan of Rick Owens, but I don't want to wear Rick Owens all the time. Sometimes I'm in a playful mood. Sometimes I want to flex a little bit. So I will wear my booty. I will wear this jacket. Sometimes we get a bit insecure. Sometimes we simply want to flex. You don't always have to wear avant-garde product. I doubt you'll see someone wear this varsity jacket with Guidi or CCP or Rick. So now you have. You're welcome. Yes, it screams LV. Yes, it kind of screams I am insecure. I need everyone to know that I'm wearing something expensive and that it's LV. It's okay to flex sometime. It's fine. My overall opinion on the graphic, I will admit this. Without these graphics and logo, I would not have gotten this jacket. The shape of the jacket is nothing new. The materials are not something to scream about. It's not horse leather. The graphic does a lot of work in making this jacket and the three other iconic. When we look back at LV under Virgil, these varsity jackets would be one of the few pieces that we think of first. There are a lot of things you can hate on LV. Their reliance on logo, their market share, conglomerate design, lazy design, blah 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 blah. But you cannot hate LV for their level of craftsmanship. When you buy a product from LV, you know that you're getting a really well-made product. You know that this product has gone through a lot of quality control. You know that only the best materials are used to make this jacket. LV has a name to upkeep. Their markup may be too high, but LV makes quality product. Interior. Chain hang tag, big fan of this, very useful. However, could be a bit longer or wider so then you can, hang it up a bit easier. Also, if I had it my way, silver instead of black. Two interior pockets, which is a nice touch. I always put my wallet and AirPod in there. Feels more secure than exterior. You get all of this information on the tag on the left pocket. The material of the interior is 66% Cupro and 33% cotton. I love this blend. I also love the color and the material of the sleeve lining. It's the same as the main body. I love that it's purple. Brands sometimes change the color of the interior. Unless it's meant to be reversible, please make it tonal. Colors. The main color is purple. I'm a fan, not a big fan, but a fan. If the base of this jacket is black, I think I would have loved it more. But that being said though, I'm not, oh my god, it's purple, I don't want to be seen in it. It's a bit fun to wear something as loud as purple. It's a very deep and rich dark purple. You get a few green or get some oranges, which work really well. Again, would have worked really well with all black with a few accented white. I'm being a bit of a dick here trying to wish it was all black. I should commend them for making purple work. It's quite hard, but they did it right, The sleeve, a heavyweight calfskin. I talk about it throughout the video already. It's one of the main reasons why I got this jacket. It's thick, it's heavy, the grain is beautiful, the irregular pattern, the feel, everything is great, 10 out of 10. The wool on the body is fine. Would have loved all leather, but you can't have everything. They stay true to the original varsity jacket, I'll give them that. There is a varsity jacket that is all leather, maybe that's my next purchase. I've worn them on days where it's -5 or 0 degree. People around me are wearing down jackets or shearling coats, and I can get away with just this jacket and a hoodie or sweater underneath. So the materials, they're doing their job at keeping me warm. So the measurement, they're on the screen right now. This is a size 54. I am 172 pounds, 5'10". I normally wear a size large or size 50. I can put a thick North Face jacket under. This should tell you how big it is, but it's not too big. Do you see how it is oversized, but it's not drowning me? This could be due to the length of the jacket. It's a bit cropped. The sleeves are a bit long, but not too long. Would a size 50 fit me? Of course. I might even be able to get away with a 48 or 46, but this 54 is by no means too big on me. When I wear this jacket, I'm leaning into the oversizedness of the jacket. I love the fact that I can put many layers underneath me while still remaining comfortable. I can bet you that in a size 48, it will only be 1 or 2 inches off of this sizing. They're boxy, they're accommodating, plenty of room in the shoulder, a lot of room in the chest. I talked about the sleeve and length already. I did not think, oh, I should get a size 50 instead because this is too large. This jacket retail for $6,250. You add some taxes, but now let's say 6.5, 6.7. Half of that is the name. Yes, the calf leather is nice, the wool is nice, the graphic, but obviously they're not worth $6K. If you simply talk material to produce, probably less than $500, but we gotta consider the time to design, the amount of people it needs to get paid. So many expenses on top of cost of production. Prestige pricing is the main reason why it's so expensive. Go watch my other video about the high fashion, why they charge so much. I unfortunately can't tell you how much I got them for, or I will get in trouble at the weekly dojo meeting among Asian YouTubers. These guys with their minimalist clothing from Uniqlo, La Mer, the YouTube and Instagram brand, the dirty Western aesthetic. They're very mean guys. I can get in trouble. I don't want to. Again. On the leather, we know it's gonna do super well. No seeping through after I pour the water down. Still some wetness, a bit glossy as you can see. Then I wipe away and you would have never known it was wet. 10 out of 10. On the acrylic blend cuffs, most of the water slide off. The water do stay on, doesn't seep through too much. A bit of discoloration after I wipe it off, didn't feel wet, but you can still see a bit of a wet spot. The interior is not that good. The material take the water, not a lot, but enough for that dark wet spot. After 10 minutes or so, it disappears. Wet spot, but didn't go through, so it does a decent enough job. You don't want the interior to get wet. That's why the wool exterior is there. The wool, dude, amazing against water. 65% of the water slide off, the rest stay on the wool. A bit of wet spot, but once you wipe it away, never felt like it was wet. Instantly, I was super impressed by this. The chanel on the embroidery also did a decent job against the water. A bit of wet spot, a wipe or two, and it's gone, but you can still sense a bit of coldness or wet spot. After 10 to 15 minutes, didn't feel it anymore. By the way, I always do my water test on the second day of owning the item, so with the weather, it comes afterwards, so that's why the opinion is a bit different. Alright, so let's talk pants first. I call this the attention-seeking outfit. A very loud jacket already, and then you add the crazy-ass pants with the flaps. This is when you need everyone to look at you. It's actually a great outfit in my opinion. I've worn this outfit out a few times now, and you can always turn a few heads. Mainly with the jacket. It's so overpowering that people forget how crazy these babble pants are. Next up, the needle flare trousers. This is my most worn outfit with this jacket. This jacket is a bit western, because of the spread collar and the general shape. A bit, not a lot, obviously. I let the pants sit super low on me, so there's some pulling of the fabric on the boots, leaning into that carefree look. If I were to pull it up, it would look kind of a bit like too try hard. With this straight leg pants from Patagonia, it's fine, nothing too crazy. Now, this was just to show you what they look like. I prefer this jacket with a more flowy trousers. With my Levi 505, I actually like this look more than I thought. I'm in my hating denim era right now, and this is pretty good. I imagine you see this a lot right now because most people that have this jacket, their style is fairly inoffensive, very trendy, and jeans are very trendy at the moment. These are straight-legged, but I cut the front of it so they sit better on the footwear, paired with a tabby. Just a good look in my opinion. The jacket is very masculine, so I let the tabby bring a bit of the feminine vibe to the outfit. And now with the omblige, this is for when you're a bit lazy, just putting clothes on to put clothes on. Color-wise, it works in my opinion. The green is soft enough to go with the soft purple. I raised the pants to its highest point so they sit better with the sneakers. I love these Virgil Vans, by the way. Bought them for my girl, but she doesn't fit them, so now I have to wear them. Good look, but do let me know what you think. With the banana pants, a good look too. Honestly, the banana pant works with anything. With these skinny taper pants, I imagine this is the outfit you think of when you think of this jacket. I'm kind of making fun of the prototypical consumers of this jacket with this look, with the Gucci loafer, with the Goya bag. Maybe those people have moved on to baggy jeans because those are what's trendy right now. My brain is a bit stuck to 2016 hypebeast era when I think of hypebeast. And now with the crease trouser, I think this is one of the best look. It works so well. The structured jacket, the flowy pants, beautiful, beautiful combo. I've been wearing this jacket a lot with hoodies under because it's December right now, quite cold. Leaning into that college and these athlete going to the game, a lot of layers make the outfit bulky. Can obviously wear them with just a sweatshirt, a fine look in my opinion. I actually like this look with the wrap sweater underneath. The crop sweater works well. I don't like this jacket with a white tee under though. I prefer black tee, but here's what it looks like if you're curious. I would try to stay away from graphic shirt underneath. There's a lot of graphic on the jacket already. You don't have to make it too busy. You can of course put a nice button up underneath, but the jacket is so big, so it's just gonna overwhelm the button-up shirt, and you know, this jacket looks better when you button it all up. You can obviously take the shirt out of the pants for this more messy look. I'm not a fan, but I also don't hate it. 6 out of 10. I put my Rick Python vest under for no reason than to flex a Python garment, and of course this look that you saw already, a giant fluffy North Face down jacket under. Crazy how this wide jacket can accommodate that. If you must wear this jacket when it's super cold out, you can. Put a down jacket under and you should be good. You guys already saw the footwear. I mainly wear this with a cowboy boot. A good and simple look. Oh, also, I wear them with sneakers a lot lately. I've been trying to wear the Rick Owens Vans more because, you know, someone's got to wear them. My wife won't, so I have to. On this day right here, I wore Greedy boots, on-plissé pants, a cashmere Rick, and this jacket. Oh, and a scarf. I knew how warm this jacket was when my legs were cold because the on-plissé are just polyester. My head was super cold because I have a hoodie. When I took my hands out of the cuff to use my phone for navigation, immediately started to feel the coldness. It was so cold. Everyone around me was wearing down and shirling jacket, multiple layers, you know, but I was able to get away with this and a cashmere sweater. The wool is just great. The leather is great. I haven't worn this in the summer, but I don't imagine that I could without dying of a heat stroke. The wool and leather, they are so thick. I think this jacket will work great in the fall where I only need a t-shirt underneath, or one of those warmer spring days. The jacket would do what the original college student wanted their varsity jacket to do at Harvard, which is to keep them warm in those cold Boston days. I wore this jacket out when it was lightly snowing. Hopefully I got some footage. If not, take my word for it. The leather does a really good job at repelling the snow, help brush it off, and then you're good to go. I was initially very concerned about the embroidery and all of the graphic, but it did surprisingly well against the snow. Obviously, I tried to get out of the snow as fast as possible, and when I got inside, I cleaned it up. The wool did a really good job against the snow. I wouldn't recommend putting this jacket through too many snow sessions, but they will do just fine against snow and possibly rain. One thing I forgot though, there are so many fakes of these varsity jackets. Please be careful when you are buying any of these varsity jackets. Some are more obvious than others. If you're not familiar with my channel, I don't have a problem with people wearing fake. I only have a problem with people selling fake as the real deal. I've been scammed before. I don't want anyone to experience that. Look out for the reviews, look out for red flags, you know the deal. Slide in my DM, I will try to help you as much as I can. It is a big purchase. While it's a nice jacket, I didn't have that same emotion I felt when I got my Abloh jacket. With the Abloh, I initially got it because I wanted to, you know, review it and then sell it. But then, once I got my hands on it, I loved it so much. I still have it to this day, and this will never go on sale. In fact, I've been looking for a second one. That's how much I love that jacket. A garment really have to be so special to me in order for me to keep. I'm treating this YouTube as a business. I have to sell, I have to replenish the funds so I can buy more items to review. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, I would have sold it already. I will use that money to buy the Bugs Bunny or the Oz or something else from Brick or Bodie. I had fun wearing it. If you are a fan of Virgil, this is one of his finest works. They go well with a lot of pants and footwear. If I feel like it, I will include all of the notes I wrote while wearing it. My name is Makasy. See you in the next video.